How about now? Am I leaning still? I'm like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hi, I'm Veena Jetti. I'm the founder of Vive Funds and the MultiFi community. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to tell you about my top tips of how to get started in entrepreneurship. And I've written down a list of my favorite tips that I wish I would have known when I first got started. First and foremost is fake it till you make it. And I know this one gets said all the time, and a lot of people just don't really know what that means. But really what it means is do all of the things that you think you need to do in order to project that you are successful, or when you are successful, the things that you will be doing. That includes making sure that you are educating yourself and you are speaking with the appropriate language, right? For example, if you're investing in multifamily, you need to go and you need to really understand and learn all of the technical terms that we use in the multifamily world. For example, in the single family world, I hear people say all the time, oh, I'm looking for private money or a private money lender or a PML, right? If you use that in the multifamily world, it will immediately tell me that you are a single family investor and you are not a multifamily investor, because that is not a term that we use in the multifamily world. In multifamily, we use the term investor, equity investor, private equity, LP, limited partner. All of those words indicate to me that you are in the commercial real estate or the multifamily space. But if you use PML or private money lender, I immediately think that you are not really a multifamily investor. So when you're faking it till you make it, you need to be able to use the lingo and talk the talk so that people think that you at least have some baseline education around what multifamily means. So initially you might start out by faking it, but eventually they'll just be authentic actions for you. Secondly, as part of faking it till you make it is getting a professional name, getting a professional email address, and getting a professional phone number. It drives me nuts when I have someone who sends me anything business related and it's like susiesmith@gmail.com. It makes me so upset because you couldn't even take the minimum amount of time and investment into building what you're calling your business by getting a professional website and email address. Today, it's so easy to get these things. All you have to do is go to like GoDaddy.com. You can buy your website for like 99 cents and it actually will walk you through everything to get the website set up. You can get email set up through there. We use Gmail for our email server and the business email is like $6 a month. And you can get a really nice email address, which is like veena@multifi.com or whatever your domain is, right? And so you want to make sure you take that effort because it is the smallest amount of effort to get the most amount of credibility back. Because as soon as someone sends me a deal and they're like, oh, this is a $50 million deal from susiesmith@gmail.com, I'm like, Susie, nobody selling a $50 million deal uses a Gmail address. Perception is reality, and this is part of the fake it till you make it process. So you want to make sure that you are putting in that effort, spend the $6 a month. It will be worth it. Go get a professional domain, build a website. There are so many AI tools you can use nowadays too to build out websites in a matter of seconds. And yes, it does matter. And yes, people judge you. And yes, people do not do business with you because you have a Gmail address. So make sure that this is the first thing that you're addressing as you're faking it till you make it in entrepreneurship. The next thing I wish I would have known when I first started was that you should take time to vet the sources of information that you're following. Even today, I sometimes kind of get caught up in that where I'm falling down, you know, like you fall down like the Instagram reels or like the TikTok rabbit hole of one particular subject. Like the other day, I fell down the Free Britney Spears TikTok rabbit hole. And that was fine, but then there's so many different sources of information and so many conflicting stories that without really paying attention to where your information is coming from, you don't actually know if you're getting good information, right? So you see one video and it's like, Britney is crazy and needs like all of this mental help or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I see why she maybe is struggling and maybe needs mental health intervention or whatever. But then the other side of it is like, no, she's being like held captive in her conservatorship or whatever. And it's like, like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense too. So how do you know what to believe, especially when you're getting conflicting sources of information? So you want to make sure that you're actually like deep diving into where the source of the information is, because not all sources are created equal and not all of them are correct. It's even true in real estate or in multifamily especially. I see so many people that are like mentors or gurus or whatever, and then I hear some of the things they teach and I'm like, that's just wrong information. And the problem is, because they are leaders or they're mentors or they have a paid program, people give them unnecessary credibility on what they're saying. And so what happens is it's very dangerous, because they'll be talking about something that's just completely wrong. And not because I think it's malicious or there's no bad intent. They just don't know better because they haven't done enough deals or they haven't been in this space long enough. And so you want to be really careful about the sources that you're trusting. And with that, finding a community of people who can help you and uplift you and get you into the space where you can learn appropriately and you can get proper instructions, proper just directions, proper feedback, proper experience. That is what's going to really boost you and help you, especially as you're faking it till you make it, because you need to have a team around you who can help you add that next level of expertise to your resume. And it's okay to not know where you're starting. So that's the other thing that a community is really great for, is it cuts down your learning curve by a lot. Because what happens is one person will find a really great resource and then share it with the community. And then other members of the community get to benefit from that without having to go out and research it and find the information or learn what sources they should go to. So having a really good vetted community is really key to being able to amplify your investment experience. Another thing I wish I would have known when I first started in business is the quality you need to be the most successful is not what you think it is. It's not being smart, it's not connections, it's not any of that. It's actually grit and determination and perseverance, because entrepreneurship is really hard and you have to approach every challenge as something that you can solve, and every problem is solvable. And it's actually maybe not even grit. It's actually an abundance mindset or a growth mindset. So it's the knowledge that even though this is hard, I'm not gonna fail if I don't do it correctly or I make a mistake. I'm either going to win or I'm going to learn and go to the next challenge. So people that are really successful entrepreneurs never back down from a challenge. They never get intimidated by a challenge. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that, because I get intimidated by challenges all the time, but they do it anyway despite the intimidation. So it's almost like you take that fear and you kind of put it in the passenger seat of the car and you're like, okay, I know it's here. I understand that it's here. I acknowledge it, but you're not gonna drive this car. I'm gonna drive it. You can come along for the ride if you must, but I'm gonna be driving this. And I think entrepreneurs that adopt that mentality of grit and I can do it and I am going to solve this problem and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there are the ones that actually are the most successful, because entrepreneurship is full of problems. When people look at really successful people, usually they see like all the great things, right? Like they see all of the money and the wealth and the lifestyle and all of the success and accolades and awards and recognition, all those things, which is great. Except what they don't see is all the things it took to get them there, right? Like everybody that seems like an overnight success or overnight sensation usually took 10 years or longer to get there. So just know that success is built one step at a time, and you have to do it over and over and over and over. And being consistent and consistently showing up and doing it anyway is what's really going to make you successful in entrepreneurship, because challenges are opportunities to get better. They're opportunities to learn. They're opportunities to improve, to grow. So always keep that in the back of your mind as you're going through your entrepreneurship journey. But this is the one thing that's going to make you successful as an entrepreneur, is that grit and the determination and the will to win. The next thing I wish I would have known when I was starting out as an entrepreneur is the power of being in the right rooms. This is easily the biggest mistake I think I've made as an entrepreneur, is I undervalued what was in the right rooms. I always thought that these like masterminds and these VIP tickets at conferences, like I always thought it was kind of BS, because I was like, okay, I don't really need to pay someone to teach me what NOI is or an equity multiple is. I can Google it. And I did, and you can Google it, and that's free. That's not actually what you're paying for when you are in these spaces and in these rooms, what you're actually paying for is the thing that I know now. It is a mindset that's the biggest one about being in the right rooms, is the mindset that exists around like-minded entrepreneurs is something you can't get anywhere else. It is making new friendships, people you can lean on for support, especially when things are hard and when you do want to quit. People that understand and can say like, hey, I get it. Me too. I've been there before. Here's how I solved it. Like that in and of itself is worth it. So you get a mindset, but you also get new partners, right? These are other people who have taken positive action to invest in themselves, to invest in their education, to invest in their future. And yes, of course, there's going to be people like me who are like, oh no, I don't need this. And then they're successful anyway. But this is the easy button. This is the shortcut. This is the way to find the most number of potential partners, is by being in those right rooms. The other thing you get that I didn't realize until I was in these rooms is you get access to so many more problem solvers. And so being able to be in the room where someone knows this information, and not just knows it, but can give you access to their Rolodex, life-changing. And for those of you guys that are young and Gen Z and don't know what a Rolodex is, it's basically like a phone book, but it's what old people say for a phone book. It was like an actual physical thing, by the way. As an entrepreneur, there are also a lot of books out there that can help you expand your mindset and your thought process and put systems and processes into place that are really going to be able to help you. A couple of my favorite books are Vivid Vision. It's a great book to really help you see where your company is and where you want it to go. And it really helps you nail down the nitty gritty. It's a book that was given to me by one of my mentors. Another book he gave me was Traction, which is really helpful for you, again, to be able to just see how to get your company from point A to point B or point B to point C. So it's useful at all levels of entrepreneurship. Another book that my mentor gave me was Rocket Fuel, which was also a very popular book. But a recent book that I've started reading that I really like is called Mindset. I know it seems like just a boring vanilla title, but it's really great about talking about the abundance mindset and the growth mindset and what can really help you get out of a fixed mindset if that's where you're stuck, and how you can move into a growth mindset or an abundant mindset. My husband actually started reading it, and he's not an entrepreneur, but he started reading it, and he's the one who told me that it was such a good book, and he really loved it. And I was like, wow, if he can love it that much, then I should read it. So I've started reading it, and it's been great so far. So highly recommend that book. I also really like Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, because I think it's a great way to kind of think about how you want to frame your business and really understand why you're doing what you do, not what you do or how you do. You start with why you do what you do. And I think that's a really great book for any entrepreneur to read. And I've also been reading $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozi, which is actually, I'm reading volume 2. I started with volume 2. I don't know if that's allowed, but I did it. And it's just a really good book to help you understand the power of attracting your target audience and attracting leads versus going out and trying to solicit leads, like attracting them towards you and how to do that. And he really breaks the book down in very easy to read, digestible chunks, which I really appreciate and enjoy. And then, there's classic finance books that I really like. The Millionaire Next Door is probably the first finance book my parents ever forced me into reading, and I hated it then, but I've read it many times since then, which is really great. Jen Gottlieb's book, Be Seen, is a phenomenal book for just building your brand and putting yourself out there. So there's so many different books you guys can read as entrepreneurs, but these are some of the ones that I would start with so that you can really understand who you are, what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it, and how to do it. This is good for just foundational work, but also even as you build businesses, just to refine and fine-tune your business. It's a great way to take your business from one level to the next level. So highly recommend those. Build community. This is the one thing I wish I had done sooner that I didn't do because I didn't realize the importance of it. Similar to not realizing the importance of what was behind the VIP curtains, if you will, is the power of having a community and building a community and being part of a community and participating in a community. If there's a community out there that speaks to you, that resonates with you, go join that community. Learn how to be a leader in that community. Help other people become a cornerstone of that community that already exists. A lot of the leadership in MultiFi are people that found a lot of useful information that helped them in MultiFi. So they go and now they give back and they serve the community and they help others. And that's how a community works, right? I can't do it all by myself. Then it wouldn't really be a community. But now there's so many other leaders that will go in and help others and pour into others and teach others what they've learned or what they know or what they wish they would have known. So go find a community like that. And if it doesn't exist, go build one, go create one. When I was looking for a community that I really loved, that I wanted to participate in, that I thought was gonna be the perfect fit for me, I couldn't find it. And I tried, and I looked at many, and I tried to fit into many, and I tried to participate in many, and none of them had the vibe that I was looking for. They just didn't have what I actually wanted out of participating and spending my precious time and my precious energy in those spaces. And so I went out and created it. And that's why it's a community where we can be vulnerable, where we can share our wins and we celebrate each other. We help each other through hard times. We partner with each other. We give just for the sake of being a go-giver. So those are really the tips I have for you if you are starting out as an entrepreneur to get the most bang for your buck, to go and start with a proper business name, faking it till you make it, finding your community, being in the right rooms. All of those things are so important as you get started, and anybody can do those things. You can start those things literally today. Those are the things that you can do to get your business off the ground and running, because every business starts with just an idea. It's the people that implement it and put it into action. So keep going and go start your business. You can do it today, and it's pretty easy to get started.